Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. All rise and stand. This is a sovereign, ancient, Article 3, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan court action. I am sovereign living justice, Pauline Denise Ritchie, in capitis diminuto nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay, in capitis diminuto nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. So we want to start our meeting off today answering a couple of questions and giving a couple of updates. So we had a proper revenuing of court actions this week to the tune of 10,000 Moorish sovereign dollarium, where the court action that we did was honored by the inferior courts that the subjects have. So we want to further investigate, because see, we're continuing to investigate what's working and what's not working, so that we can continue to get better and better and better at all that we do. I am finding out, and we knew this, that having our own money is going to fix a whole lot of what was wrong, what was not working, because we had the right processes. But all law is commerce, and we're seeing now that when we just forward some dollarium back and forth via email, even with those red ink signature autographs in red and all lowercase letters, we're finding that there is complete recognition for the things that are being done. So we're going to continue to work in that vein, where remedy is concerned, and all Moors have the ability and the authority to do so, to work in that vein, where the dollarium is given out freely, and all Moors feel free to send the dollarium to others. Okay, send it to as many out there as you can, even to the subjects. If you want to send dollarium to the subjects, send it to them, because the thing about them is they'll be autographing in blue, because they still have to use lawful money. But we want to at least, even if they don't use it right now, we want to at least them to just know, we're just notifying them that we have our own money. Because there's another couple of steps that we're going to take coming forth, where it will make it so that everything is running smoothly between the subjects and the heirs. Okay, and we talked about the revenuing and how to do that. All of the processes that we've been doing should be backed by Moorish sovereign dollarium. So anytime you're communicating with one another or with subjects, everything should be backed by dollarium, and that will assist in getting the remedy that we need. Okay, now the dollarium should go to other Moors. It should not go to the subjects. It should go to other Moors. So, for example, if you received a ticket or some type of something from a bill or something like that they sent to a court, okay, because they can't send it to you because Moors have no debt, but they'll send it to a court or whatever, then respond, you and another Moor, get together and do a court action between the two of you, and if possible, three of you, and send dollarium back and forth between the two of you, stating that you recognize one another, that this is a court action. Make a copy of whatever it is that was sent, and send the dollarium back and forth to one another as a court action, and both of you should do a court action. The one sending and the one receiving should do a court action and say, this is a court action stating that we are Moors, we don't have any debt. This is the debt that they're attempting to have us to claim an identity that is not ours, and we're not that identity. That's the point of the Dallarium going back and forth, is we are not any debtor, and that we are Moors, and for this particular action, we're going to send some Dallarium, any of your choice, any of your choosing, whatever you want to send. Just send, even if it's just one Dallarium, send it back and forth, because as you know, in their system, even if something didn't require Federal Reserve debt notes, they would always say, well, just exchange one Federal Reserve debt note, because they knew that the use of the money put a certain jurisdiction on what was being done. And so we want to put our jurisdiction on everything that we do. Everything that we do is a court action. Everything that we do is done by affidavit, whether it be a spoken affidavit or a written affidavit. And everything that we do is backed by lawful money. Okay, and now we want to talk a little bit about the lawful money, because even the court processes, because see, in the past we had introduced the removal process, where we would remove court actions that were attempting to be, where they were attempting to use the Moors as surety. We were saying, well, we can do a removal on that. Each Moor can remove their own themselves as surety, and then put forth proper revenuing of any actions. And when we revenue the court actions, all we do is do a court action on who, again, just like we were just saying, same thing, do a court action, state who you really are, and then turn around and you can do a court action on the corpse, is saying, okay, you've misidentified, unlawfully misidentified me, and you've attempted to call me something that I'm not that, and because of that, we're going to assess a fine or a penalty. And then not only are we going to assess a fine or a penalty to you for doing that, because we've already told corporations to stop doing business on our land. Because of that, we're going to assess a fine, and the fine doesn't have to be super excessive, but then provide in your email, here's the Moorish Sovereign Dallarium right here, sign it in blue, and send it back to pay your fine, because we can't keep fining them, and it's actually the subject then that signs in blue, not the corpse. We send the corpse to Guantanamo Bay. Okay, we do a court action, and we do away with the corpse and tell them, let the dead bury the dead. Then we have a subject there who was acting in court status, and we say, okay, you're under our jurisdiction, and so here is what you need to do. You need to pay this fine for acting in corporate status, and since you've been acting in corporate status, you need to sign these Dallarium in blue. Sign it in blue and send it back to pay your fine. Now, some people might think that that is not necessary, but it is necessary, and here's why. The same way that we were using Federal Reserve debt notes, every time we used it, they would violate. Every time we use it, they violate. And so the reason they violate is because of the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, where they say if you pass that paper, then you're a Federal Reserve agent. That's according to the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 that they supposedly put out there. Well, we have taken that and put it in red in all lowercase letters and saying we're the Federal Reserve now. And anyone using our Moorish Sovereign Dallarium or our United States dollars, because that's our money too, United States dollars in red in all lowercase letters, not Federal Reserve debt notes. There's a difference. One is backed by gold and authorized by us, and the other is not. The Federal Reserve notes, debt notes, we don't use them. So let's continue doing our research and our study in that area so that we can continue standing and doing our demonstrations and stating who we really are and backing it up, because all law is commerce. That's why every time they did some violation, even if they beat somebody up or something, they still turn around and add insult to injury and send them a bill. You cannot properly remove a court case from another court without your own money system. That's why it's called revenue or revenuing a case. Okay? Because all law is commerce, and the case would have to be revenued in order for it to move. Because even between those corporations, whenever a municipal court would something would happen and one of the citizens would say, I'm elevating this to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court corporation and the municipal court corporation would have to be on the same money system, so they would exchange money to revenue. That's why they always had someone pay a fee. They always had someone pay a fee to, quote unquote, supposedly raise it to the Supreme Court level. You still had to pay a quote-unquote filing fee because they know that it's all about jurisdiction. And even when people tried to say that the Supreme Court Corporation was a different jurisdiction, it wasn't, because they paid a fee. It's still the same jurisdiction, and that's why the Supreme Court Corporation had no problem remanding cases back down to the municipal and letting the municipal have their way with the citizens, throw them in jail, whatever, fine them repeatedly and all of that, because it had everything to do with the jurisdiction of the money, the fiat, rather. For them, it's the fiat. For us, it's money. And why is it money? Because, see, sometimes people say that more sovereign dollarium, because it's not physical gold, that it's not money. But I want to explain to you why it is money. First, look up the definition of money. Look up the definition of money. Where's my dictionary? The definition of money, there are several different definitions of money. One of the definitions is a gold or silver coin. We know that. That's also the definition, the adjective definition of sovereign is a gold coin. And money is also, quote unquote, banknotes, paper, commercial paper, etc. But look it up so that you can see that this whole time that we were passing that green stuff back and forth, the only thing that gave any paper value is that the Moors said this has value for this. It's called full faith and credit. Okay, that's the law. Full faith and credit is the law. So we have placed our full faith and credit in ourselves, and that's why more sovereign dollarium has value. That's why it's gold, because we're the gold, we're the value, we're the bank. We know it. We know that already. We're it. Because even yellow gold, metals, it wouldn't have a value if we hadn't said that. But we said that since time immemorial, that all natural resources have value. So the value is what it is. And that's not going to change. It's always based on what we say, what the Moors say. So I want to tell you quickly the story of, by the way, the conversion rate of more sovereign dollarium, because we were asked that question by one of the hybrids on social media. The conversion rate for more sovereign dollarium is 1 more sovereign dollarium to 1 United States gold dollar. That's the conversion rate, not fiat, not Federal Reserve debt notes, but United States gold dollars. It's 1 to 1. That's what the conversion rate is. So now some have been asking, with that in mind and knowing that we're the gold and we're the value, we're the worth, we're the wealth, we're the rare earth minerals, we're the gold, we're all of that. having that in mind and knowing that we don't need anything else because we're already the heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all commerce, we don't need anything else to back our more sovereign dollarium. We don't need it, but let's just say we did, and let's just say we wanted to manifest something else, okay? And that's our money. So let's just say we wanted to. Some have said, where is the gold? That's been the question. Well, where is the gold? Where's the gold? We're it. That's it. But I want to tell you the story about the gold on the land and where the gold is on the land, because some have been asking that question. So the story of the gold, it's been since time immemorial, but I'll just give you the most recent rendition of that story. The story of the gold took place 75 years ago. And I'll just start there because, again, this is the most recent rendition. This is not the oldest or the ancient one, because we're the ancient gold sitting right here, all of us, all more. So about 75 years ago, somewhere around there. So somewhere in 1914 was the quote-unquote outbreak of World War I. And we already know all world wars started with paper. They all started with paper, and they started when everything was capitalized, and we Moors did not rebut the capitalization of everything. Okay, land titles were capitalized. Yes, all false flags. Yes, all wars have been false flags to cover up the fact that there was a whole bunch of citizens and quote unquote persons who were impersonating the Moors by capitalizing documents and then showing those documents all over the earth saying, we're the Americans, you know, we have this title, this deed, this patent, this, all of that. They put it all in black ink and capital letters and went all over the earth saying what they said. Okay? So in 1914 was supposed to be the outbreak of World War I, and countries, quote unquote, and we're talking, this is from the corporate standpoint, countries, quote unquote, needed gold, supposedly, okay? So New York was a money center for everywhere, for all of, quote unquote, Europe and for all the corpses, as well as when you put it in red and all lowercase letters, that was one of the money centers for the Moors around that time. So if you were a citizen back then, and again, remember what 1913 was. That was the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. So this is 1914, and they're directly connected. Once the hybrid foreign Europeans had went through and capitalized everything, it took them a while. It took them some years to capitalize everything and then fool us, fool some into thinking that they fooled a majority into thinking that those were valid documents. They just looked at our red documents in red and all lowercase letters, and they said, okay, we can just capitalize this, put it in black ink and put some capital letters on it, and it's ours. And make it look official. Put a black seal on it and make it look official. So if you were a citizen back then, you were asked to bring your gold to the bank, and then they gave you some paper money. And the citizens did the exchange out of quote-unquote patriotism, but in reality, they were doing it in order to continue to proclaim our land, supposedly, add some claim to the land, because they knew that, if there was no, whoever it was that was asking them to bring their gold to the banks, it was their supposed government telling them to bring the gold to the bank, that if they didn't bring it, they wouldn't be able to stay here and keep doing that fraud that they were doing. Okay? So if you were a citizen, you were told to bring your gold to the bank, and they gave you some Federal Reserve debt notes in 14. Right after 1913, they started giving out the Federal Reserve debt notes. The citizens did the exchange out of patriotism, and then the banks melted down the gold and made gold bars. Okay. The banks told the citizens that their money was backed by the gold bars and the gold that they had put in there. Okay, and that they should still use the paper money, which would be redeemable for gold after the war. So it was only supposed to be temporary that they held the gold. And during that time period, let's just be real, a lot of the Moors had bought into that citizen piece and gave up some of their gold too. And believe it or not, all gold belongs to the Moors, even the ones that the citizens were holding. Citizens can't own nothing like that. It all belongs to the Moors anyway. So when the banks were saying, turn it in, they were like, well, it's not ours anyway, and if we want to stay here any longer, we're going to turn it in. So they turned it in, and they gave them the paper, those fraudulent Federal Reserve debt notes that looked similar to our original money, okay, that we had been using. And they were telling them it was redeemable. That was step one, is they were telling them it was redeemable for gold in theory. That wasn't a real thing, because they found that out later, that it wasn't redeemable for gold. And that the quote-unquote war never really ended. So now all these banks, and everyone was told, go to your local bank and, turn in your gold, and they'll give you this paper money, and you can use this money everywhere. Well, they just got all the vendors. They told all of the corpse people, that you all have to accept this fake money. You have to accept it because the people turned in their gold. So all corporations accept these paper notes. And when the corporations accepted the paper, now remember, the corporations were run by them same citizens. And a lot of the Moors did not turn in their gold. Some did, but a lot of Moors didn't. So a lot of Moors did not have that stuff, the green stuff, because they weren't gonna do that. They knew it wasn't real money. But then some Moors fell for that, okay, because they thought that it was the real government speaking when it wasn't. It was a capitalized version. It was colonialism, capitalism. And so once they were telling the citizens, that was step one, the citizens turning in their money, they were saying, okay, you all still use the paper money and it's redeemable for gold, but we knew that, but that was a lie. So step two was that the commercial banks took the gold from the people, and then the central banks took the gold from the commercial banks. Okay, so all the Federal Reserve was actually doing business as the central bank. But they were private. Again, still a private corporation. And the Federal Reserve told all the banks to send their gold to the regional Federal Reserve Bank, okay, which ended up at the New York Federal Reserve Bank. And these are all corporate entities pretending to be government, okay? So after a while, the citizens got used to using these things, and they looked and saw, oh, we can get this and this and this. We can buy all these things with this fake money. And the citizens got used to not seeing gold around. And then some of the Moors got used to not seeing gold, and they were like, okay, well, we're the heirs. We got plenty, so let's just go with it. Some, not all, okay? And so the people got used to not seeing any gold, and they got used to using those fake dollars. So after a while, no gold was even in the banks. The people turned it in to the banks thinking that they could go back and redeem at that same bank. But it wasn't there anymore. They had melted it down and sent it off. So they would just give them more of those fiat notes. Okay? So the people, that was step 2, was the people got used to not seeing gold unless you were like a gold collector or you know, something like that, a coin collector or something, or if you were a Moor who said, I'm not going to turn my gold in to them because I'm not a citizen. I'm going to keep what I have. I'm not a citizen. And we know that none of us are citizens, but some Moors did. And that was around the time when many of our grandparents were alive, were living. And in many cases, you know, 1914, some of our grandparents were, you know, part of that. Some of our grandparents kept their gold, and some of our grandparents didn't. They turned it in and got those notes and started buying things. So then step 3, the United States Treasury and the finance ministers, you know, all of this was happening over a period of time. In 1934, okay, so this is from 1914 all the way up through 1934, the United States Treasury and the finance ministers seized the gold from the Federal Reserve Corporation because it was privately owned. Okay, so there was no love there either. And this, the United States Treasury that actually had the authority to seize gold from a corporation doing business as Federal Reserve, was actually the Moors. We're the only ones who have the authority to do that by lien. That's what seizure of the gold is. When we lien someone, we're seizing something. Seizing property, seizing assets, seizing things that belong to us. Now, while we're doing the seizing, those things don't move. They stay in place. They stay right where they are. But we just seize them by that was the quote unquote supposed war. Was the paper, not the guns. So don't let them fool you about that gun thing. Okay? So now, but what we did do, okay, was we gave the Federal Reserve Corporation a gold certificate. We gave them a gold certificate and said, you know what? You're a corporation rather. You're a corporation because initially the Federal Reserve, not the court, but there was an original Federal Reserve that was in capitis diminutio minima that was actually started properly. Because that's the only way that anything happens on our land, is it has to start properly with us, and then all of this other stuff happens because we're God. Nothing happens without our consent. They can't do it. Nobody can just step on this land and start doing things without our consent. Despite what some may want to put forth that, oh, they're just lawless. No. They can't do anything without our consent, period. They know that. And that's why you're seeing the developments that you're seeing now is we're no longer consenting. So if you go to the Federal Reserve website today and find their balance sheet, okay, you will see something in the assets column called a gold certificate. Okay, that's the one we said, okay, you just since you only exist on paper, just put this on your paper. Let me show you that part. Okay, now remember, keep in mind that the Federal Reserve is a corporation. Okay, so let's just take a look at that. Now, if you look at this that's on the screen right now, hopefully you can see what's on the screen. It will say here, up here, this website is the St. Louis Fed.org. Okay, they're a corporation. Okay, and it talks about here gold certificate account assets, other gold certificates, and as you can see here, just take a look at this chart here. something happened right around 2007 that caused a huge crash. Does anyone know what that was? It was that the Moors, it was about time for us to do our wake-up thing. Okay. And again, Moors were doing work around 2006, 2007, 2008 too, so let's keep that in mind too. Again, nothing happens unless the Moors make it happen. Okay, so we want to give honor to the Moors who were here doing the work even then. We want to give honor to them, and we don't ever want to overlook anything that they've been doing. Just like when our prophet did what he did in 1913 and 1914 and around that time, and you know, with the old Canaanite temple and all that he was doing with the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, that cannot be overlooked. It affected the whole earth in terms of the finance piece. So let's not think that what we're doing doesn't affect the whole earth, because it does. Our prophet proved that. He proved it. That yes, it's documents that do that. Our prophet didn't pick up a gun. He used documents to make the changes. There comes then 1933, the big crash. Okay. So now with regard to that balance sheet, this is actually the first line item on the actual internal Federal Reserve balance sheet. And that one you can find on, I believe it's, well, that's something that you can look up. Let me just see, because I did look up their balance sheet earlier today as well. Okay. I'm going to put a link in the chat to the Federal Reserve, to one of their publications, which is a balance sheet. And you can read that for yourself and see what they say in here. This is actually the August 2020 balance sheet, because I believe they stopped publishing this after a while. Okay. So let me go ahead and put the link to that balance sheet in the chat. That's all. Okay, there it is. That's the link to their balance sheet. And it's actually just a balance sheet of, this one is a summary of what they've been publishing on their balance sheet. It's a good study tool because it tells you a lot about what we've been doing and why it's working. Earlier we talked about how the Federal Reserve had been telling the banks that they needed to hold a certain amount of reserves in their banks based on the capital that they have. And we know that fraudulently the capital was any contract that we Moors had signed, not knowing that it's a corpse contract. And while we were in our sleep and we were steady, you know, contracting with them, the Federal Reserve would raise the reserve level and say, okay, you need to have 10% or 15% or 20% reserves on your books so that in case there's a run on the banks, you can give the citizens their deposits back. So we Moors, not us, but the contracts, not us, because we're not surety for anybody. The contracts were guaranteeing the deposit. So when we started saying, okay, termination of all corporate contracts, then the Federal Reserve said, okay, banks, you don't have to have any reserves because, and when they say you don't have to have any reserves, all they're saying is if there's a run on the bank, we're not giving anybody anything back. And now you can look in the news media and see that not only are they not giving anybody anything back, they're getting ahead of any bank runs by taking things out of the bank, by going into people's accounts and taking stuff. And they're using the Federal Bureau of Investigation Corporation to do that. Or company, rather, because we put them as subject status. So we're going to refer to them as subjects, everyone, because we already put them in subject status. So then, I said all of that to say this, because this is to answer the question, where then is this gold that they collected up and took and melted down into bars, and where is the gold? The gold is being physically held on 2 Army bases, minimum 2 Army bases. One of them is West Point and the other is Fort Knox. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, that might, you know, the gold is gone from Fort Knox and blah, 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 blah. It ain't gone anywhere. It's still there. Nobody had the authority to move it. They couldn't move it. It's Fort Knox and West Point. So is that what backs our delarium? Yes, it's ours. It's sitting on our land. But again, we didn't even need to know that. We heard it. We looked into it. It's there. But we didn't need that in order to do what we did, to print our own delarium, because, again, our consent. Do you know that the word consent, it means against being sent? Consent is almost an agreement to disagree. Con means against. And then sent. So it's against being, that means we're holding something. When we give our consent, we give it, whatever we're holding, to someone else. That's why it's called consent. So the gold and again, anything that's on our land has value. Our land itself is the value. So what backs delarium? Everything. Why? Because we said so. So don't let anybody tell you that, oh, it's not a gold, it's not this, it's because that. If we say that a contract has value, then guess what? Even the contract has value. And we know that to be true, because it's through the contracts that all of this mess was happening, those contracts of adhesion. Okay? Now, all that we're saying, we're quoting the law. The Federal Reserve Act says it. The Constitution says it. Talks about gold coin in tender of debt. Well, we don't have debt. So we can use whatever exchange method we choose. So if we don't have debt, why do we need the delarium? To give an account for everything that's on our land, including our energy and our services. Because we know, based on what we just came out of, that our energy has been the real goal. That has been the real value. That's why they had us going back and forth to these jobs and not giving us real gold, because it's the energy that is the real gold. And they would take that and do whatever they needed to do with it. So we did help build our own vast estate by having jobs and doing things like that. You know, we did help build it. So let's put that out there. And now it's time for us to reap the benefit of all that we've built. Some more worked in construction, some worked in banking, some worked in administration, quote unquote government, quote unquote, you know, all of that. We were the government the whole time. So we wanted to put a few things forth in terms of answering the question, Islam Justice Theodore. He said he wished some of the naysayers would come to the calls and hear this. Listen, he that has an ear, let him hear, and those who don't hear, it's okay. Because at some point, because see, that system is not going to let people remain unhearing. We're in the age of knowing. And the age of knowing says that we're the value and we're the wealth and we're the worth and we're the source of everything. We are the source. Period. That's what God is. God is the source of all, yes, truth. But again, those are laws of the universe even. Those are laws. So we're not outside the law with what we're saying. We can quote the law on all of that. The fact that we could write a constitution and require gold of them, gold coin of the citizens, that means that they're supposed to have some gold too. But we have to give it to them in order for them to even use it. That is why, and see, think about this more. The citizens can't go down to the grocery store and you know, haven't been in the past able to go down to the grocery store and say, oh, I have this gold coin and this gold necklace, give me some groceries. They've not been able to do that. So we as the United States Treasury, because that's who we are, in red and all lowercase letters, we're the ones who have the authority to say and do what goes on our land, but we must do so by proper protocols and processes that we put in place. We put all of the processes in place. So, no, it's not enough to just say, I'm an heir and I shouldn't be going through this. If you don't want to go through it, learn the processes. And that's what we're doing together. Together, we're going through these processes and looking at them and tearing them apart and asking questions and finding the answers and all of that. We have to continue doing that with everything, including the banking. Yes. Yes. So that's pretty much all that I wanted to put forth today in terms of the gold piece and the Moorish sovereign dollarium. Again, it's by our word that anything has value. If we say citizenship had value, guess what they would do? Turn our sovereignty on us, treat us like a citizen, and throw us in jail. So, you know, that's a real thing. That's all of this is not something that we're making up. Okay, so Justice Onlinne says in the bibliophilio text they borrowed gold. Yes, who did they borrow from? Because, see, we're the lender and not the borrower. We're the lender and not the borrower. We always have been. If you look up the word loan, L-O-A-N, look up the word loan in the dictionary, because we're going to keep pointing to dictionaries. We're going to keep pointing to the law. We're going to keep stating the law. Look up the word loan in an older dictionary, and it will tell you that it is a gift or a grant from a sovereign. We loaned to them, not the other way around. And we're getting all the way back to that right now. Why do you think it is that the quote-unquote Federal Reserve had previously been able to print all of this supposed fiat, but they're still claiming that they're bankrupt and broke? And then you can look and see they're bankrupt and broke. Why is that? Because our consent is with us and no one else. We consent to ourselves. We consent to our economic system. We consent to our gold-backed system. We back it. Our word is bond. B-O-U-R-D. is B-O-N-D-E. Our word is bond. We spell bond differently because it's not, our word is not a debt. It is a bond that says when we say something, we're going to do it. So on September the 13th, I believe it was, of 2019, I'll show you this and then I'm going to yield the floor to Empress Shade. In 2019, we said that we were putting $666 trillion on the public record, and we want to show that we have done that. We have made that manifest on the public record, and I'll put the link to that in the chat also so that you can look at that particular public record and see that that has taken place. Okay. Let's see. Here's the link in the chat. It's a long link. Not that long. Here's the link in the chat, and then I'll put it on the screen. Okay. So now we are going to, from this point, we're going to be begin posting our banking information according to the Constitution, Article 1, Section 9, I believe it is. Let me see. So on September 13, 1440, which is 2019, the people who are the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government placed on the public record $666 trillion in gold-backed Moorish sovereign dollarium to secure and enlarge our vast estate. We've activated the gold standard on our land and the sovereign United States Treasury in capitis diminutio nolo in red ink, in alignment with the Constitution for the United States, 1789 and 1791, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 7, states that no money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by it says lawn, and a regular by law. That's what that really is. Appropriations made by law and a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. So we're going to publish from time to time, just like the Constitution says, because again, we're not under the Constitution, we're in alignment with it. We're going to publish from time to time what's going on with the public money, because that money actually belongs to all Moors. And we're going to use it for widespread change on our land. We have some things coming up through our courts where we're going to be able to appropriate some things, some money, some resources to some of the things, to answer some of the, to remedy some of the issues that we were having previously where resources are concerned. Okay. And then also we're going to start providing this same kind of statement to for bank accounts, for Moorish bank accounts, okay, trust accounts, etc. Yes, Empress Tia in the chat, she says the great unlearning begins. May the greater acts of sovereignty prevail through enforcement of our Constitution and enforcement of our treaty comprehensively, nationally as the national divine movement of the world. Yes, change is here. Hear and see. Yes, change is here. So Islam indeed. So we're going to, there are some other, we're putting together our entire banking system and the trust accounts and all of that. I got asked a very good question today by one of our most thinking empresses. She's a thinker empress today. And she did ask about where, Moors are saying, and even those naysayers are saying, well, where's the gold that backs your money? And we just explained all of that. There is so much backing for our Moorish sovereign dollarium that it's impossible not to see the backing. When you see us, you see the backing. When you see us consent to autograph the sovereign dollarium that was created by the Moors for the Moors, then there is backing. And then there is also the backing from 75 years ago and from 100 years ago and from 1,000,000 years ago. All of that still belongs to us. It's all ours. So, and we know that. And so we're proceeding with what we know to be the law. And that's where the disconnect comes in at with a lot of Moors is they feel like they have to see us standing in front of a big old cache of gold and saying this is what backs our money instead of looking at what the law says. What does the law say about the Moors and all land, all natural resources, and all commerce? What does the law say? Well, we wrote the Constitution, and if we can command gold from citizens, we can certainly command, that means that we have the gold to give. Because you can't command something if you don't have it. You can't require others to do something and you have nothing to do with it. You require them to do it on your land because you're able to provide whatever it is. All the tools they need to be good citizens are available from the Moors. So when we give them commands, we make sure that they have the tools they need in order to fulfill those commands. Okay? And in the past, sometimes we would give a command and we wait to see and nothing happens. In the past, it's because we didn't give them what they needed in order to do what they needed to do. Well, we're giving out dollarium all over the place so that they can pay their bills. Because they did not have, and that's going to put the jurisdiction where it should be. Yes, Justice Jezreel says they need to learn and understand the principles of natural law. Oh, yes, absolutely. Islam. Yes, they do. But see, we get it already. We get it, so we keep moving. And when I say we, I mean, those who get it. I mean all the Moors who get it. We get it. We know everything belongs to us, so we're going to proceed as we know. We're not guessing. We know this already. And everything that's happening is affirming what we already know. With that being said, I have taken up. I've taken up the first hour with this information. I could go on another 3 hours, but I won't. I'm going to yield the floor to Empress today so that she can give us her wisdom on the finalities of the real estate process. So we have an entire process backed by our money and our land that we can use to get what we need. This is how remedy is gained. Remedy has to come from the Moors. It can't come from anywhere else. It has to come from us, and that's on all fronts. When it comes to the money, we have to remedy that ourselves. And the Moorish sovereign dollarium, I will say this, for Moors who don't have possession of gold coins and silver bars and all of that, the Moorish sovereign dollarium says you're still the heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. All gold that's being held up and saying this is gold, that's ours too. All of it is. Yes. Empress Tia says, studying these fundamentals are called the 7 natural laws through which everyone and everything is governed. Yes. That's why we're called the natural people. They are the laws of attraction, polarity, rhythm, relativity, cause and effect, gender, and perpetual transmutation of energy. Islam. Yes, yes. Here's what we do know also, that because we've put more sovereign delirium everywhere, okay, and when I say we, all of us who have agreed to that we are the law and we're going to use our own money and we're going to stop pushing fiat all over the place, okay, those of us who have consented and agreed to do that amongst each other, we're proceeding with what we know at law. And if you look at any one of those laws, the law of attraction will tell you that we're doing the right thing and attracting our own wealth back to us. Why? Because we're producing it and giving out our wealth. We're giving it out, so that means we're attracting it right back to us. Okay? What have we done where transmutation of energy is concerned? We've taken energy that says that there's lack and all of that, and we've transmuted that energy back and said there is no lack among the Moors. We have all that we need, and anything that we need, we can produce. So with that being said, Empress Shade, let me make sure that I want to be sure that okay. Empress Shade, are you present? Let me just see. Hopefully she can hear. Just one moment. Let's make sure. Oh, she said give her a second. Okay. Yes. So we're proceeding with proper
You're not
protocol.
making any sense. Because
here's the thing. Here's the thing about what we do. Okay. Everything that we have said in the past is manifesting now. Okay. We said we were going to print our own money. We said we were going to, that all commerce and everything was ours. We know that that's the law. We quoted the laws where that is concerned. And if you go look at our past videos, we've quoted those laws. So now we're moving in that direction. We're moving in that vein. There's no way to do it except but to do it. There's no way to do it except but to go ahead and just do it. That's a law too. It's paraphrasing of the law. But if you want something done, do it yourself. That's the only way that Moors know things are done, is when we all do it ourselves. So, let me just click on these 7 hermetic principles here real quick while we're waiting on Empress today. Are there any questions or comments while we're waiting for Empress today to get booted up here? Any questions or comments? You can star 6, and this is for the Moors only. Hybrids, please be quiet. Are there any questions from the Moors or any comments from the Moors? Fun. And Empress today, I'm going to go ahead and start and put the, I'm going to give you the presenter option as well. Now, with regard to the Moors that are in incarcerated, because I believe we do have some Moors that are listening in from the POW camps. Court actions, and then the brothers who have connected them with this call. Again, everything that we're doing it for you all, because we want you out here with us. The brothers that are listening, use the tools. Please use the tools that we have. And if you can get some delarium into the brothers in there just for the purpose of energy, just for the purpose of them having that energy in there, because there's a spirit of lack in the POW camps also that we've got to deal with it. We got to deal with it so that our brothers can come out of there and our sisters can come out of there. You know, but the brothers and sisters that are in, you know, we all have to stand and speak for ourselves. Meanwhile, we're out here speaking right along with you. Okay? So don't think that you're speaking by yourself or that you're alone. We're doing everything out here that we can in order to assist you in helping yourself to be free. So we want to be sure that we put that on the public record. Okay? Yes, there's in the chat. Empress Shade, are you ready? I've turned the presenter over to the presenter mode over to Islam.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I just want to make sure. All right, I see it, and I'm starting it now. Hold on. All right, let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we can. More, hopefully you can see that on the screen.
It's very small.
Let's see. Is that better, Nobility?
No. It's about 1/8 of the screen. Right.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine. That's very readable.
Okay. Good. I yield in for
Islam,
today.
It's not centered.
Yeah.
It's not centered.
Yeah, the red letters and small caps need to go more towards the right to bring the black letters in, more centered.
Yes. There it is.
Islam. There you go.
You can see it now? Everyone can see it?
Yes. We can't see the title of it.
Okay, that's because I made it too big. Hold on.
Oh,
see, I would have to go down. Can you see now?
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? I just want to say something real quick. There's in PowerPoint, you got some little icons on the bottom at the right, and Empress Shade, you have one that's grayed out. If you move from there, 1, 2, 3 to the fourth one, it'll go to presentation mode. That one, click that and that'll bring it up big. And then you can just hit your arrow keys to go to the next slide.
But now, let me see. Hold on. That brought me to where I didn't want to go. But you guys can see it better?
Okay. Yes, we can.
I yield anyway.
Yeah, no.
Thanks
for that.
That's good.
Thanks for that. I'd just like to try to go from that, and I'm going to have to go back to the documents. But what I'll try to do is just hurry up and then go through the slides and then exit out of here to go to the documents. Right now we're talking about
I'm sorry, you probably can just hit your arrow key. You think that'll help?
It's not, the documents are not on here. Let me see. It's not in this PowerPoint. They're separate through Word. But I'm going to try to do this and then go back to that.
Okay, I yield.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So we talked about the title closing process one of the last times that we were on the call, and I stated on that call that we were going to have some additional affidavits that's going to accompany the title transfer, and one of them is called in the corporate world would be called a grantor-grantee statement affidavit, and we're going to have our grantor-receiver affidavit as well, and then there's like a notary republic, just sworn statement as a witness that the notary has was there to witness the transaction, and we're going to have pretty much our sovereign notary republic process as well. It's something that can be added. Generally, when you look at like a quick claim deed or any type of deed transfer or any type of title transfer, they normally would be with the title itself. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. We're going to go over right now what is a notary public. A notary public of the common law is a public officer constituted by law to serve the public in non-contentious matters, usually concerned with general financial transactions, estates, deeds, powers of attorney in foreign and international businesses. Notary has also been known to be the highest officer of the court, even above judges. I don't know if anyone knows that, but I remember when I learned that some years ago. Just the status that they had in the corporate world over judges. Light, do you have anything to add on that of any of your lessons?
Yes. So in the subject status, the subject notaries have higher whatever supposed authority. However, our sovereign stamp and seal supersedes all, okay? So more, just make sure that you know that our sovereign stamp and seal, and all Moors have the seal because they have a right red thumbprint. Our sovereign stamp and seal supersedes even, notaries. But when you put them in subject status, which they're all in subject status, then you can utilize that as something if you choose to, but it's not necessary. Okay, so we want to make sure that we put that forth that, we supersede all and there's no question about that. That's at law. Okay, and the only reason that notaries had any authority at all was because we were not using our sovereign seals and stamps. So that was, supposedly delegated to them, but in reality, now that we're using it, on the subject side, that's true. On the sovereign side, where we are, it's all about the Moors. Islam, I yield. Empress, if you're talking,
can you hear me now?
Muted.
Yeah, I'm muted for a minute, just so, okay. But what I was going to say was, you're absolutely correct. We're bringing templates that can be edited and so forth, but pretty much, there is no higher officer of our court than the Moor. So if you, would like to have that to accompany your title, we're just trying to make sure that we do our transaction and have it completed. Any Moor can be that witness. Okay, if you have any more that are witnessing, they can be that. But also the real estate scientist that is with you and dealing with that transaction, if you have your real estate scientist with you, can also be that one to witness that the transaction happened, and it happened according to law, and both people were, participating in the transaction. It's like nobody was doing nothing, against their will, etc. And so now we're talking about what is a grantor and a grantee affidavit. Grantor and grantee affidavit, which is a statement. The grantor is the seller that affirms that the identity of whom the title is being transferred to the best of their knowledge, is the one, whether it's a living man or woman, or whether it's a company or a trust. To the best of their knowledge, they're transferring that title to that particular man, woman, trust, or company, okay? And so they state that, and then the grantee, which is the receiver, will verify, yes, I am that living man or woman, or I am part of that company or that particular trust that you're transferring over the title to. So basically, it's very simple, cut and dry. That's pretty much how it works. Let me see. I'm going to go into the documents now. Okay. So first, we're going to look at a corporate quitclaim deed. Generally, this is how it will look like. The first page would be the deed. Okay, this is the deed, and it shows the grantor, and you'll see that, okay, the consideration of this particular property was $10, and it was going to a trust, and then it will have information on that trust, etc. Then it will also, it says, see attached legal description, and then it will have the real estate PIN number there, whatever that is, and the address, and you date it, and whoever the signature of the authorized member or etc. would be there. Now this next page is where the notary was signed, saying, hey, I witnessed that this particular man or woman, company, trust, etc. was in front of me, and basically I seen the whole transaction take place with whatever investment group. I put that whatever company and whatever trust, because those would be the two. Now, if it was a living man or woman, that information would be here, and then at the bottom, you'll see send the tax bill, because, of course, in the corporate world, you're paying taxes, and then mail the recorded deed to whatever mailing address that you would like. And then this right here, the last particular portion, would be any real estate transfer tax information, whether if you had any exemptions, and then they would sign and date. And then this last page is that affidavit where the grantor is acknowledging to the best and affirming to the best of their knowledge of the living man or woman or whomever that they're transferring the title over to is whoever that they're claiming to be. And then right here you'll see it's the grantee section that is verifying, yes, that is true, I am such and such. And then lastly is the property description, and whatever that property description would be right there with the PIN number and the address. Okay. So
now, I just have a quick question. So that was just something that you did previously, or?
This was just something that I particularly had from real estate that I didn't have for about God knows how many years now. To give you guys the, basics of how it will look like, etc. And I tried to fill in some blanks so you guys can kind of see how it should look and it will go if you were doing it in the corporate world. Let me see. Okay, so now we just pretty much did the same thing and transferred it over to our moorishe government letterhead, okay? And I don't know if we want to put, notary here, but we can switch that to whatever we would like. But I do have a loaded title sovereign notary affidavit here. So if that wording needs to be changed, we can always change that. We have our court action right here. And you always put who is prepared by, okay? I just put the Moorishe and make some land bank right there.
Empress, may I interject for just a moment?
with regard to the notary piece, we do need moorishe notaries, just so that you are aware. We do need them. Moorishe notaries use red ink and all lowercase letters on their notarial seals and documents. We do need them. And also, a moorishe notary accepts only lawful money. So that's another something that, and then in addition to that, all Moors should have a separate seal, and I got to get one made too, that is specific to you, okay? Because you are, you know, your sovereign authority is yours. I need to have a separate seal made that is a light Tajiri based seal that only light uses, you know, in addition to our government stamp and seal and our consulate stamp and seal. So, you know, we use those seals, but then we also have to have, it would be good to have, whenever you can, something that's specific to you. It's not necessary because, again, our right red thumbprint is the highest seal, but this is further down the road as we continue governing our own vast estate and our own affairs. Islam, I feel.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And this page right here that we're coming up, it would be like a notary witnessing that someone came before them, and that is from the descendant and the birthright, a Moorish American national. All that information would be put right here, with, of course, the date and whoever that may be the witness, the vizier, the minister, the counsel at that time. And then I did change this light to company. The notary title would be either in a company of trust, living man or woman. And I just put information here so you guys can see how it will look, okay? Really, this would be where I said I have Moorishe American Mexican Land Bank. That would be for right now, it would be the Moorishe American Republic federal government to whomever. The living man or woman, the company, or the trust, okay? But I put that information here so you guys can see how it will look. And then you're going to mail recorded title if you would like it. It could be emailed as well to whatever address or email address that you have, because we're going to be doing a lot through the internet and email. And we don't pay any taxes, so I put our exemption right there because we don't have to worry about taxes, right? So I put that exemption right there, and then you'll put the date and your autograph. Then lastly, this is our grantor receiver affidavit with the Moorish National Republic federal government letterhead. Of course, we still always and we will always have our court action at the top. And mind you, is the whole package given for notification to the subjects, or is it going to be certain pieces given to the subject and then the rest put on public record? Because, you know, I put the court action.
I think that the whole transaction should be on the public record. And putting it on the public record is the same as notification. Now, okay, I'll say this. There is a way to shorten notification. See, notification is happening as you go through the process. It's going to be happening with each step that you take. You're going to notify anyone doing businesses, real estate, banks, etc., that something that a proper exchange has taken place and title has been conveyed to the Moor. Okay, from one Moor to another, or from the government to the Moor, from the bank, the sovereign national bank, Dollarium bank, gold bank, to the Moor. Okay, so notification is going to be happening throughout the process because you're going to be leaning and doing court actions, and then when you're finally done with everything, placing it on the public record, and you can just tell them, you can send them a one-page document saying this is where you look to see the whole transaction. Islam.
Gotcha. That's perfect. Instead of having to do all that printing out Oh, the full package, just the SIN. Okay. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so yes, this is our grantor receiver statement, and just like from the corporate, we have our grantor section where they're affirming the identity of the Moor that is going to be receiving the property, that they believe that it is them, okay, that they're Moorish American national, and that's their appellation, whether it's a company or trust or a living man or woman, okay, and then they'll put their information right there and their autograph and the date, and it'll be, if you do have a Moor to witness it, you can have that information of whoever the witness would be. Pretty much our notary, our vizier would be just like our notary. If you don't have anyone, that's fine. I mean, you can notarize it yourself or even leave this part out. It's up to you. But I just want to make the process complete, and pretty much any affidavit, any document that I've seen in the corporate, change it over for us so we can use it. Like I said, to make sure that each particular piece that we're doing within this real estate transaction is completed. Here's our receiver section as well, with the date and autograph. And as stated, you know, whoever the vizier that would be the witness will go here. And pretty much that is the end, okay, because the grantor is the Moorish American Republic federal government. That would be that information, that section. All this you'll be able to read over on your own, and then we'll put our lawful property description here, because all that typically is attached. I know with the allodial title that I had, if I'm not mistaken, the one that we had, like, I know it shows the vast estate, and it may show the corporate address, relation, along with potentially the PIN number. Am I correct?
No, it doesn't show a corporate address. It just shows the allodial sovereign mailing location.
Mailing location.
And, yeah, it shows the mailing location, and it'll have a parcel number in red and all lowercase letters.
Got you. Now, does it show the specific, because I don't have it in front of me, and I forget, I've done it a couple times, but I forgot, does it show the specific, you know how they had the legal description within, for that particular parcel? Does it show that within the
red and all lowercase letters?
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. Okay,
that
so yeah. Okay, good. So that should be, as she just stated, already attached to the allodial title that you have. We have templates for it, but also you would attach that to this particular portion as well, of the notary and the affidavit and the grantor receiver affidavit as well. And that's it. Okay, that's pretty much it. Islam?
Justice Theodore put it in the chat also, latitude, longitude, and the national area code.
Absolutely.
And that's if you don't have the property description. But national area code, latitude, longitude is a must for all that we do, all mailing locations, because that actually eliminates the need to even refer to a corporate address. Because see, remember when we used to have to refer to the corporate address to know where something was, but we can change the location name, the appellation of the location. So, for example, if a property was on, let's just say, if it was at 911 Southwest 314th Place, which is what this consulate, the mailing location of the consulate is care of 911 Southwest 314th Place. If I don't want it to be that, and I want it to be the people who are the Moors way, you know, or whatever the name, you know, whatever, or if I want it to be, you know, Consulate Avenue or whatever, then referring to the natural area code and the latitude and longitude will tell on the public record what you're talking about. So, Moors, you are free to rename your property locations and things like that. You can do that and put it on the public record. And I would encourage you to go back historically and look at the historical records and see what was what that area was according to our ancestral records. You know, look up any land patent, you know, or anything like that. So if you go to the BLM website, the Bureau of Land Management website that we showed a couple of weeks back, where you can look up the land patents, it will actually point to that area, and you can look at the land patent and see. You can put that land patent in red and all lowercase letters, and it will give you the description of that piece of land, okay, according to how our ancestors put it, okay? So look at the land patent, use that land patent resource that we showed you how to use that a couple of weeks back. Use it so that you can describe your land properly, and that way we further do away with any quote-unquote addresses that were in a fake trust that, you know, that the corpses were claiming. Use that tool as well as natural area code and latitude and longitude. Islam, Empress.
Islam, and you're right. You know, we stated that before. I know we stated that before on a few other calls because I was really interested in changing the location to you know, some type of different name. But you're right. You know, I would definitely encourage to do that, to, you know, put it back into, you know, our own sovereign, not only our own sovereign jurisdiction, but just, you know, even change it to one of our ancestral appellations or something like that, you know. So that would be perfect to do that. And I didn't see how we would be able to, for people to still know exactly where you're talking about, but you're absolutely right with the natural area code, then they should be able to find it with no problem. Everybody should know where you're talking about, the location. So that makes sense. Yeah.
And latitude and longitude.
And latitude and longitude, absolutely. And I yield. That was it. Those were the only two affidavits that I have for today. Now I'm wrapping up the closing process, so hopefully we should be really done with this next week. And that should be done. If anybody have any questions about anything that we went over so far, I guess this would be the time to ask it. But other than that, that's pretty much it for today.
I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first is, going back to the quick deed, is the PIN number like a form of parcel number or a folio number?
Yes, it would be a parcel number. Depending on where you're located, they probably call it something else.
Right.
But where I'm located in Illinois, Illinois territory, they call it a parcel number, parcel identification number. And it pretty much would be on any tax records. It should be on whatever deeds and so forth.
Okay. And the second is regarding send the tax bill. Are we not using the tax proclamation exemption instead, or are we putting that on the document to have them send it someplace, and then they will send in the exemption proclamation?
Well, I've been thinking about that in light. I think we need to discuss a little bit more on that, but for that particular portion, we're not taxed, so we shouldn't be worried about that. Now, as far as just assessing the land to see how much our land goes up in value, I'm sure that's going to be a process that we're still going to continue to do on that particular portion, but not necessarily taxing us because we're not taxed. So I put our exemption on there under us just being not taxed. However, that's something to discuss further, since we are still going to be assessing the land and the value as we move forward.
So proper discussion. Go ahead, Empress. Go ahead, Empress. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when you research before lien and all that stuff, you see in the tax assessor's office the market value, and they to the Moorish government, the tax assessor's office will show 0 for market value and 0 for taxes.
Yeah. Well, they can do that. That's what they should be doing, because it shouldn't be in their system at all. And it won't be when you change the name of your property, okay? But let's just talk about the tax piece, and let's make sure that when we're talking about taxing and all that we use all the proper language, so that way we stay in our own jurisdiction where taxing is concerned. We're not exempt. We are not taxed, period. And the way that we stay not taxed is by using more sovereign dollarium, our own money, to transact the business that we're transacting, that we're exchanging, okay? That is where not tax comes in at. We can't be in their system and be not taxed, so to speak, because they don't really have a system. All systems belong to the heirs. So, Empress Ali, you're correct in that they may reflect it as zero balance, and you know, they may do that. They may do that,
yes,
and that's fine. They can do it.
Right, and then actually after the whole process is complete, they'll say the folio number or the parcel number or the name that was on the tax assessor's office for that person that formerly owned it. They will say reference only. They won't have anybody's name because it's going to be conveyed into the Moorish government. And so all of that changes, the value, the taxes, and the owner once everything is complete. Islam.
Islam. And have you seen that done, Empress Ali?
Yes, I actually did it, and I sent all the judiciary a copy. So I showed the before and I showed the after.
Okay. Okay. And here's the thing too. Our records are going to reflect properly on the public record anyway, okay? And then they can just make their records mimic what ours says, but we must take that reporting piece upon ourselves as well. Just like we have with the Treasury that I showed you earlier, we have to take all of the reporting into our own hands. Then we can notify them that we've already noted on the public record that this property is not taxed and all of that, and the latitude and longitude. So if they have anything going on in their system where that latitude and longitude is concerned, then they need to fix it. Okay? And when I say their system, when we put them in subject status, it's our system, so it needs to reflect properly also. Okay? Islam, Empress.
Yeah, it sounds. Oh, was somebody else on? Oh, I'm sorry, Islam.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question about how do you get the natural area code? Empress,
yes.
Did it have an engine?
I have a question pertaining
just a moment, please. Just a moment, please. Let me answer her question first, please. Let me answer the Empress's question first. She asked how to get the natural area code. So I'm going to go on to the internet and put it on the screen and show you how to get the natural area code, okay? So let me answer her question, and then Empress, you can answer afterwards. Empress, today I'm gonna take back the screen sharing so that I can show them how to do the natural area code.
Okay, that's fine. I'm done. Islam.
Okay. Can you see on the screen? Can you see Google on the screen?
I will get it later. I'm on the phone.
Okay. Well, let me just show the Moors how to do it.
Okay.
Oh, area code. And that way you can look back at this video and see how to find it. Natural area code. This right here, www.nacgeo.com, is the website that we use for the natural area coding system. Okay? And then when you go here, NAC or address, I usually just skip this part and go straight to Get Map. And when I go to Get Map, you are going to see here, it will say this page can't load Google Maps correctly. You just click OK. And right up here, put in, I'll do the natural area code for the consulate here. Federal. I think they do it that way. And this would be what they call this is not our mailing location. This is that corporate thing that they use, okay? So this is not us, this is the corporate thing that they use. And if you see here, they put it in blue in all uppercase. So then it will say right here on this map right here, I take this map and I'm using 2 fingers to move the map over to where we are, okay? Just one moment, give it a moment to fit in here. Just a moment. It will say use 2 fingers. Just a moment. Uh-oh. Okay. There's the map. And I usually just make the map really small so that I can see the whole map and move it over, because it usually starts at somewhere in Washington, D.C., I believe, is where natural area code. So you do have to work with it. Now, you can see the 50 states there, supposedly, the supposed 50 states. So I'll go right over here to where we are.
Okay. Islam?
Islam.
Empress, I don't see it on the screen anymore. I don't see it on the screen anymore.
Okay, let me see if I can get it back up there. Can you see it there now?
Not
yet.
We're there. Thank you.
Is it there?
Yes.
Yes, it's there.
Okay, good. So now what I do is move over to where I am, move over to where the location is, which we're here near Seattle territory. And what we do is find the land, the place where we are. And I'm doing this so that you will know that you do have to work with it just a little bit so that you can find where you are and then put the proper natural area code in there, because people have been having issues with the natural area code. So what I'm doing now is just finding where we are according to the map. Okay, here we are. And again, this is corporate. We know we're not corporate, but we're going to find where, here it is. Find where we are on the map. Okay. Let's just keep missing here. So you do have to work with it. And we are going to be writing here. We are right. Okay. So what you'll do is you find where you are on here, because it may not give you, when you try to map it, it may not give it to you, give you the natural area code. So we're right here. We're right here. We know this because we can see, the consulate, etc. And so what we do is we just click on it, and there it will give you the natural area code. And it will give it to you according to which room you're in the domicile, whichever room, because it's going to be different for different parts of the domicile. That's how to the point and accurate this natural area code system is. If I'm in the garage, it's going to give a slightly different natural area code than if I'm in, let's say, the kitchen. Okay? But you can use any of the natural area codes that you choose as long as you're clicked on where you are. Okay? It's going to be different for the driveway. Our ancestors did a great job. We know anything that says natural this and natural that has everything to do with us. And if they are still calling it a natural area code, then it absolutely, we know it belongs to our ancestors, and that we're the ones who put this system in place. Okay. So there it is right there. Okay? And you can see the natural area code here, and when you click on it right up here, in this part right here where I'm highlighting, and you'll see this on the video, Empress, is the latitude and longitude as well. So you'll see at the click the natural area code as well as the latitude and longitude. And what we do is we put all of this in red in all lowercase letters, all of it.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm glad that we're able to get that up, because Lord, we're looking for, and you can see the website here, nactag.info/nap.asp. Okay, so that way we can see how to get the natural area code. With that being said, are there any other questions or comments? Let's see, I'm looking in the chat.
Yes. Empress?
Yes, Islam.
Islam to all. I have a question pertaining to, I'm not understanding fully the name of the web, to go on to. there is a person that I believe might be on. He usually sends me the information. But if you've had property, my grandmother left my mother property in Michigan. And it's been, some years, because my mother was paying on it, and we were not living on it. Is it feasible to go back and get that as well? I have two questions, because that judge that did the George Floyd's case, he took my home here in Minnesota, told me I had to leave, and it's been going on 8 years in October. Am I able to reclaim my property, because I did put it under noble jualees with the information pertaining to the land and whatnot?
Yes.
I added that on to my, what you would call the UCC-1.
Okay.
So
when you did the UCC-1, let me ask you, did you fill out their UCC form, or how did you do that?
Yes, I did. I didn't know of no other.
Yes, Islam, and thank you for that information.
Islam.
So
yes,
everything, the answer to your question is yes, but everything has to be done in red and all lowercase letters, including all, if you have any of the documents, or you can look up any of the documents where there was a conveyance or a transfer of the property, put that in red and all lowercase letters on a government affidavit, Moorish government letterhead, and republish it. Okay? And you can put,
how do I get the Moors publication information?
The letterhead?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
what you're saying?
All of it.
Oh,
no, the property information. How do I get that? Do I go to that portion that you said, the web page?
So when you say property information, what do you mean?
Well, I have copies of my documents and them taking my home and all. How would I correct it to being, because I am a Moor, and I would like to correct it on the record, even though I have documentations with noble juale signed in Illinois, to which that's where I was born, in Chicago, Illinois, what they call Morocco.
Yes.
But I reside in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, so I will say this even about Prophet Noble Juale's document. We honor the work that our prophet did. You may want to, along with having that document that he did, you may want to put that document side by side in affidavit, and then do your version of that document that Prophet Noble Ali did in red and all lowercase letters. So that you have a matching sovereign document to match the corporate document that he has there. And when I say corporate, he didn't do it as a corporation. He did it as an 801 something. I think it's an 801 document or 501. No, an 801 document, which was before corporations were doing their thing. But
yeah,
we still have to do everything in red and all lowercase letters in order to rebut any claim to that document. Okay? So
yes,
so the documents that you have, all of them need to be done in red and all lowercase letters. And you're going to have to study the process of allodial title. You do need to proclaim your sovereign nationality. That now, before anything is done, you must proclaim your sovereign nationality on the public record. Okay, that's before anybody can do any documents or anything at all. nationality is the order of the day. That's the first step in everything that we do. Is nationality, name change in judicial proclamation, in red and all lowercase letters, as well as a termination of all corporate contracts. And these steps and these documents are underneath. They will be under this video as well on YouTube at Light Tajiri Bay channel. Just go there and look in the description of the video, and you'll see links to a name change, a judicial proclamation, a termination of corporate contracts. A lien document will be there, a court action will be there, and you can edit those documents. You can download them and edit them and use them.
All right.
Okay,
All
along with your study. Okay, and your study will tell you how to edit the documents and how to use them with what you've learned in your study. Okay.
All right.
So yes, the answer to the question is yes. The property has not gone anywhere. It is still in your sovereign family. And your claim, your sovereign. And read all the lowercase letters, looking at those documents, and then go back and look at these videos that we've done here as well, so that you can go get any information that you need in these videos as well, okay, in terms of the real estate piece and proper claiming and possession.
Woo. How long would that dealing take? Whereas, do we have to pay the corporations on documenting out?
No. If you pay them, it's going to corrupt your process.
Wow. All right.
Yes.
My mom's turned 99 in May. And by all, I would like to be able to reclaim the property, which I have the documents. She gave them to me. The property that her mother left her before she leaves this plane.
Empress, I would like to see the documents so that I'll make up draw up some affidavits for you that resembles the conveyance of the property. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that you and I'll do it as a template so that you can fill that template out and study it, because you have to study the processes so that you can stand on them. Okay? So I'd love to see the documents, because they're probably, how old are the documents, Empress?
Well, my grandmother, I think she got them in 1960 or 61. I'm not sure, of the land in Michigan. And I think some other corporation is on the property, to which I don't know. How would I contact you to get that to you, or do I give you my phone number or my email or what?
Let me give you my phone number. Do you have something to write?
Give me a second, get the ink pen, please.
And I'll also give you my email address so that you can send the documents via email if you want to send them via email, so that I can just take a look at them and see. And it's interesting. The reason I asked the date of the documents is because if it was 60 or 61, somewhere around there, that was even before zip codes was even a thing, because zip codes didn't even come into play until around 62 or 63. So you've got some documents there that are still, they're in. We can look at that process and see if there's something that we can pull from it to use.
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
Okay. So my phone number is I like to say 1 as our nation code. It's 1-334.
334. Yes, ma'am.
294.
294. Yes.
9828.
9888.
9828.
Oh, 28. All right. So
9828. And then my email address.
Yes.
Is lightbaynation1@gmail.com. Light like light bulb, so Light.
Light.
Bay, B-E-Y. It's Light Bay.
Yes.
Moorishe Nation, M-O-O-R-I-S-H.
M-O-R-I-S-H. Moorishe.
M-O-O.
M-O-O. Right. R-I-S-H.
Nation.
Yes.
N-A-T-I-O-N.
N-A-T.
And then the number 1.
O-N. The number 1.
1 at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yes. So lightbaynation1 at gmail.com. So that we can look at what you have and we can it would be an honor to create the documents because we need to see older documents you know, that we can look at. That's going to be important because there is a process that was used back then too. Because they had to have something before area code. You see what I'm saying? And so it may not even have been using area codes at that time.
Wow.
Or not area codes, I mean zip codes. Sorry, zip codes is what I mean.
Well, my email is Lady Silver.
Don't give it on here, Empress. Don't give it on here because this is a public platform.
All right.
You know, some
so you'll know who I am. Okay. All right.
But I put mine out there because we ain't scared.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah, we put our email and our phone number and everything out there on the public record so that if people, you know, if they need to use it.
I got you, and I thank you.
You're welcome, Empress. Islam.
Islam.
So, Islam. And are there any other, Empress, are there any other questions that you have that we can assist with?
Well, just hoping to be able to get my home back, which I don't know, something tells me that it will be done. And I've been seeing it, dreaming, being back in my house. Oh, before this year is over.
Empress, you are muted. We can't hear you.
It's not muted on my end.
No, Empress Light is muted.
Yeah. I hear both of you Empresses, but I don't hear Light.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Islam, Empress, thank you. I got booted off briefly, but your study and the documents, and I was just about to say before the interruption on my call is that the Moorish Sovereign Delarium is a huge key in getting things back, the things that we need, getting it back for us, because it was the fiat that was the problem, and we kept trying to use. See, that question that you asked is so important, Empress. When you ask, do we have to pay the corporates in order to get this stuff done? Why would we take it to the thief? Why would we use the thief's paper to do anything? We wouldn't. We have our own. So when we, as you and I talk and we get the emails going, I'll send you some more sovereign dollarium that you can print out and use as well in your processes. So when you're starting to notify whoever it is that has claimed the property by email, you can do a court action, and then I'll do a follow-up court action. And you can send the dollarium to me, okay? Just send some back to me from what I send you. And then, and that's putting it on the record and letting them know that we're doing everything ourselves, okay? And then you start looking in the system to see that the subjects have done what they're supposed to do, okay? We had this happen this week with our court actions, and we're very excited about that development, where they actually acknowledged what needed to be done because we put Moorish sovereign dollarium, the empress that had the issue, put the Moorish sovereign dollarium on the public record, and they acknowledged what we did. Okay, so yes, just as Alessandra, proof of exchange, we must have that on the public record, and it must be proven by court action. Okay, so Empress, you and I we'll talk about that, and I'll point you in where to study, what to study and what to do, and then I'll assist where I can in terms of the documentation. Okay, but even with our best documents, Empress, we still have to study. You know, we have competent documents, but we are, as you can see, we're still digging in and studying to ensure that when we demonstrate, we're demonstrating purely from a pure heart, a clear conscience that we have done everything that we're supposed to do in terms of honoring our foremothers and forefathers. They want us to have the land. They want you to have that domicile back because it was given back when our ancestors were were doing what they were doing all over the land. They want you to have it back. And the thing is, it hasn't gone anywhere, Empress. I don't care what's on it in terms of if they've changed it and put a building on it. None of that matters. It's still your land. Okay? That won't change. Won't change. Our land is unalienable and inalienable. Islam. And Empress, I'm not sure if you can see in the chat, the Moors are sending you some positive energy with regard to your domicile and your grandmother's domicile and your mother's domicile.
Thank you so much to all of my people. Thank you.
Islam. They're showing some beautiful energy your way. And that's what I love about these calls too, is that the energy is here. The pure energy. We are for each other. Islam, Empress. Thank you, Empress, for that.
Thank you.
I believe there's another Empress that's wanting to ask a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, Empress Portia. Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to see like a example of the dollarium exchange amongst each other. Is there a document?
Yes. I'm going to ask the Empress where we did that exchange. I'll ask her if she will allow me to redact it and publish it.
Okay.
Because it's important that be seen.
Viral.
Yeah. It's so important.
Yep.
Yes, it is. We know it is because it's, the exchange and just the way everything happens, that's what we need to see.
Yeah, to actually be using the dollarium amongst, just to be circulating it.
Yes. It's the energy thing. Because, see, it was our energy that they were taking when we were going back and forth to those JOBs, those jobs. It was the energy exchange. And now that we're exchanging energy sovereignly among one another, that's going to change the whole demonstration. It's going to change everything. And in the demonstration that was done, the only thing that those fake corporates responded back with was one sentence. we have received and filed your document.
Wow.
That's something that they didn't do before.
Wow.
We have received and filed your documents. And this was a fake court, which then became an inferior court because the Empress did a demonstration. She did a court action, and then I did a court action back. You know, we exchanged that court action energy on the courts that we copied in on everything.
So
and
may I see a copy of your court action, just to, you know, to know what to say? And,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna write it down, and then I'm gonna call the Empress that I did that with and see if maybe we can redact, you know, take out her information and publish what happened.
Okay. And I got one more thing to say. I looked at some videos today of his name is Dr. His name is, I can't remember his name.
Over 100 million Americans have a low credit score.
But he did some videos on, I'm just going to say I have a total understanding of why we need to terminate our corporate contracts, because, you know, dealing with the United States government and dealing with the Albion is bigger than what we think, and is deeper and darker and uglier than what we would ever imagine, and that you need to do everything you can to find out who you are and connect yourself to your roots and your mother and father. That is your real savior from all of this, everything that's about to happen. That's your savior. And I yield.
You're saying you don't overstand the need to terminate the corporate contract, or you do?
I certainly I overstand, understand, and any other type of stand. I stand on that.
Yes.
On terminating, cutting everything from them, getting away from them, and now I understand why the indigenous killed off the colonists for trying to do commerce with them. I understand. I mean, overstand that now. I know why now. And I don't have the links right now, but I'm going to certainly put them in the next conference call, and so people can better understand it, because I can't discuss it here. It's a whole world of information.
Yes.
But we need to know it. And
Empress, we saw that in the spirit. Yes, we saw it in the spirit realm. The ancestors showed it to us back 2 years ago when we started saying, yelling, screaming from the rooftops, we've got to terminate all corporate contracts. We have to. It's bigger than a planet. It's serious. It's, oh my God. I yield. Ooh. I yield. Empress, I got goosebumps because I know what you're saying. I'm gonna leave notes in the next conference call. I'm gonna make sure I leave links and then just say something to remind. But I yield. Yeah. Those contracts are multidimensional. Those corporate contracts are multidimensional. Didn't realize that. I didn't realize that, but now I do.
All right.
But it is. It's multi-dimensional. Empress, I don't mean to continue to keep muting you, but there's some noise, there's some sounds that are coming up on the sound meter. I want to make sure we can hear. Islam. Empress Portia, are you there? Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, okay. I can hear you, Empress. Go ahead, Empress Portia. Okay, I had to. Yes, that's all I had to say. So that's all I had to say. That is certainly it's multidimensional, and that's serious. It's off the planet. I would just say that and leave it there.
Yes, 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 yes. And the termination of corporate contracts. When we first started saying that, we got some flack, a little bit of flack, but that went away so quickly that I was looking around like, whoa, ancestors really did away with any energy of anyone trying to dispute the fact that we needed to terminate those corporate contracts. I know that. The ancestors shut them down so quick, and I didn't even have to say anything, because those contracts are multidimensional. The contracts actually affect the past and the future, because the corporate contracts cut off our ancestral connection in terms of, now again, our ancestral connection is never cut off, but it paused the energy that went back and forth because we stepped out of alignment with those corporate contracts. And again, our ancestral energies and stuff, our connection is never going to end because it's in our blood. But the energy that we've been feeling, you know, we can feel this energy going back and forth between us now that we terminated those corporate contracts. We can feel that energy and that connection again with one another that unifies us. And yes, Empress Tia, she put it in the chat. She said they call it a transmitting utility. Oh, yes, it is. Ooh, yes, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Actually off the planet, yes. It's
so
off
we're not
the
playing
planet now. It's not just at a colonial. It's off the planet. And I yield. I can't say no more.
Yes, Empress, yes it is. And because we have been demonstrating the termination of those contracts, y'all just don't know what has transpired in our favor because of that. We have turned the whole universe in a way that it needed to be turned so that there's not a bunch of destruction. Because the destruction was on its way. It was on its way. Islam, Empress. Is there any other questions or comments? Empress, it's huge.
Yes.
It's huge.
What I wanted to suggest.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
I have a question. Have we taken over the actual military as of yet, or are we still in progress with that?
When was the military not under our sovereign control?
Okay. Well, that's what I'm asking. That's what I wanted to know. Because we got a lot of people to get rid of. A lot.
Here's the thing about what we're doing. When we're competently doing what we need to do, a military will be, down the list somewhere. They won't even be, on the radar, so to speak, because it's only, again, by the contract that anybody was marching and shooting. They can't march and shoot. That's why we're all sitting here safe and sound. They can't march and shoot if the documents are correct and the energy is correct among the air. It's the documents and the energy. And let me say this again, and I'll keep saying it. Y'all probably going to get tired of hearing me say it. But fiat energy corrupts all sovereign demonstrations. Fiat energy corrupts. It's a corruption just like corrupt blood is a corruption. It's corruption. So everything that we do it without the United States Corporation Company in black and capital letters. Okay? I mean, I could tell y'all some things that's going on in this territory right here that's affirming and affirming and affirming and affirming everything we've been saying. I mean, it's showing up in the newspapers and things around here, the stuff that we've been saying. And very shortly you'll see it in the mainstream media because they ain't got nothing else to talk about but the Moors as it stands. And they're going to be saying it properly shortly. Islam, there was another empress that was going to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
I yield the floor. I yield, yes.
Empress Taylor E.L. I just wanted to suggest maybe 3 minutes before the meeting started, if we all could would meditate on the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice bit, that it would bring more, it would help bring closer unity with us also.
Empress, let me please just tip my turban to you, because you just reminded me of something I've been trying to say for the past 3 or 4 meetings. Thank you so much, Empress. Thank you for that. For the past 3 or 4 meetings, I've been trying to say we're going to do a national fast. A national fast. Okay? Because it's been a minute. It's overdue, really. We need to do a national fast where we fast for 3 days. Now, the 3-day fast that we do, we usually do it right in connection with the full moon. So whenever the full moon, whatever day that is, then that's the day we start our fast. And sometimes we do it the day before, the day of, and the day after. But what the 3-day fast is you fast according to the leading, how the ancestors lead you to fast, okay? Some people fast from sun up to sundown. Some people fast from certain things like sugar or meat or you know, certain things, whatever it is. Some people fast from complaining. Some people fast from negativity. Negative thoughts, negative thinking, and negative people, they remove themselves from it for that 3-day period. And any negativity that comes their way, they automatically say, I'm fasting from that. So if there's something you want to tell me, you're going to have to either put it in positive format or wait until the 3 days is over. And then some of us fast from everything for 3 days where we do water only, and we are meditating, we're going about our day doing the things that we do. You know, the calls continue and all of that, but we do water only. And lots and lots and lots and lots of it for 3 days. No food, no nothing, just water. So how you fast is up to you. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at the calendar. Can someone please Google when the next new full moon is? The next full moon? I know it's coming up soon because today's the 18th. It's probably somewhere in the next 2 weeks. July 24th is the next full moon. Islam, 23rd, 24th, somewhere around there. So thank you, Empress, for saying that, because I've been trying to get that out for a minute. So what day, Morris, would we like to start the fast? The 23rd or the 24th? What day would you all like to start the fast?
We should start the 23rd to make sure we cover everything.
Yes. I'm seeing in the chat the 23rd. I see that a couple of times. Yes. Yes, Islam.
Hi.
Yes, Islam? Say again?
It's Islam. I don't mean to change the subject. I would like to know, be it that there are plenty of people as well as the ancestors. Do you remember having turpentine in your medicine cabinet when you were a child growing up, or your grandma or grandpa or whoever using this on the children, or for any purpose? Because we're going to go back. I'm sorry?
You said turpentine.
Turpentine. It was in a dark brown bottle with a white top. And I'm trying to find that old time remedy, whereas it helped with, they would put it on the children's navel. They would give it to them for worms. They did it for colds, along with kerosene on a lump of sugar. Turpentine, not what you use for paint. This was medicine turpentine and kerosene, which it knocks out cancer and stuff.
Yes, Empress. Woo, that's some powerful information right there.
Yes, it is. So, and I got to get my book. I've sent off for the information, but right now it's packed. But I just wanted to share that to see if some of the people that are on could go back in time to remember the various things, because I just recently read that it helps to get rid of, what is that? Even diabetes, cancer, diabetes, a lot of things that when you're a child, you don't know everything. But when you come of age to know and to get certain things answered, and a lot of us have people that are still with us that can remember that and perhaps share it.
Yes, yes, yes. So
I don't know if the sugar took the poison from it, because it always went maybe 3 drops of kerosene or 3 drops of turpentine on a lump of sugar, and take it for colds, whooping cough, female problems. It's so many things that it covered.
Princess Ali, can you please speak on that and tell her where to get the turpentine from? I see you put it in the chat.
Islam, yes, you can get it from Etsy.com, and it's a remedy that my grandparents used on us. Because the turpentine is from the pine tree. It's just that strong. It's not a chemical. It's as strong as a chemical. Actually, it's the original, and the chemical is the fake. And so the turpentine, they gave it to us on the sugar cube, because when you crunch it up in your mouth and leave a little bit of chunks of the sugar, it goes down, and the sugar lures the worms or the parasites to the turpentine, and then the turpentine will cut off the heads, and then you'll see it as you pass. Sometimes, after that, by the next day. But it's something that our people grew up on. And you can get it from Etsy. The one that's not the spirit gum that is in the Home Depot, the Etsy one is the natural one. And so we're going to have to do turpentine now, so we have to put it on our exchange. But, yes, that's an old school remedy.
Yes.
eBay as well. Islam.
You can find it on eBay as well.
The full moon is going to be on the 23rd, but it says it actually starts on the 22nd.
So in the chat, I believe that the 23rd was the day that the majority of the Moors were saying, and also some spoke their sovereign will. So it seems like the 23rd is what the majority of the Moors are saying. We can start our fast on that day, if that's okay.
That's fine.
And I'll have to say, I get a little choked up when the ancient, the remedies, especially like the turpentine and things like that, when that stuff that starts manifesting in these meetings, I get a little choked up, because I know that it works. I know that it works, and we never have to be sick.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
You know, our ancestors did not need for us to be here and be sick. They wanted us to be well so we can enjoy the vast estate.
Yes.
You know. So
well, that's from the old school. Yeah. And I just wanted to put it there for us to look and know and to heal ourselves.
Yes. Yes. And see, that information, that information belongs to the people, so no one should be charging to even get that information, where to get it, and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, what we need to do is we need to start demonstrating where eBay and Amazon and all of them are concerned with Delarium. Because we are Amazon and eBay in red and all lowercase letters. We know that. And that's why that one over there is talking about stepping down and all of that the same way those other ones that were doing business as corporate heads and all of that, they're all stepping down because the Moors are the real CEOs in red and all lowercase letters. And you see some of their biggest, what they consider to be their biggest, you know, quote unquote titans of industry and all of that stepping down because, you know, we're it. We are they. We're not it, we're they. We are the sovereign chief executive officers, and Morris, that fiat is not going to be here. So we might as well go ahead and start doing the demonstration between us. So, for example, if you were going to do an Amazon demonstration, and I got to do it too, then we need to, one more be the CEO of Amazon, and another more be the one who's requesting the whatever the product is, and you all email back and forth between each other, do the exchange by court action, and copy in those from Amazon, and then send the documents by mail. Send the documents and now the Delarium you don't send to them. The Delarium goes to the Moors, okay? That's why we're doing it between each other. We're using our money between each other, okay? For some reason, my computer just, okay. But just a moment. Let me get my computer back up. So we will do those types of demonstrations between one another because we have to do them. And those that were claiming to be this, that, and the third, they already know that we are, you know, we're the CEOs. They already know all of that. Everything that we're saying is not new. It's not new. None of this is new. This is what they've always known that we needed to know. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments, etc.? Thank you to everyone who. Yes, Islam.
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 I want to share this, but can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello? Okay, cool.
Yes, we can hear you.
I just want to share this. I'm coming in slow. I'll come delay. Okay. So I watched a couple of hybrids that are in Southern California, and they drive up and down the streets, and they count how many businesses are closed, and they know that. I mean, it's staggering. And then the tent cities are staggering, and it reminds me of what our noble diall said about one day we will see the hybrids on the street, and it's here now, and they are losing their jobs. You know, 500,000 a week with no end in sight. It slowed down a bit. It was close to 1 million a week, a year and a half ago. But something profound is happening. They're saying it's COVID, but we know what's truly happening. The United States corporation is closed for business. And I'm not sure if anyone else is witnessing that, but it just blows my mind on the transformation that's happening here on our land. I yield. Islam.
Yes, yes. They are closed for business, and in reality, it's been fraudulent the whole time. That is why we must do what we're doing. The dollarium is a must. It's a must because that other system is finished. And by the time they say that their own system is finished, it's really done. Okay, so we don't want to see a bunch of anyone poor and destitute and doing without. Okay, because again, at the beginning and end of the day, the land is the more, and we are not known for a bunch of poor, a bunch of destituteness and poor, we're known for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So we have to save ourselves first, then we can assist others in saving themselves. Okay? And that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's what the lean process is. We're actually saving them from corporate behavior, from corporate mercenaries. We had to. We didn't have a choice. So we have to keep doing this, and that's another reason why we cannot. Listen, if their fiat is not even working for them, I don't know what makes anyone think it's going to work for the ones that are not United States corporation company citizens. So yes, we actually have to do what we're doing. We have to. We don't have a choice. This is not, our ancestors didn't send us here for it to be a choice. It's something we must do. And we're doing it. Our ancestors are honoring that we're doing it as well. Thank you for that, Empress. Are there any other questions or comments or any wisdom that you'd like to place into the chat? We've heard great wisdom today as well. Thank you so much.
Yes,
any other wisdom? Islam.
Hemikis Elbe. I'm a Moor, and I seem to have situations that may occur to everyone else. But it's also to the fact that we are labeled into destitute, servant destitutes, and deceptive practice to the terms of historical means to blind us and not to hear from our ancestors. And we are labeled to such a degree that we have to give up our goal to such behavior that it blinds us to even question it. I say that to the great deed, to the label that they put upon us, an additional, not only to the federal means of being federal, but also to the point of labeling the mind, which is a mental disease. And this is giving great quotas to them to discriminate or segregate it. And they're doing the best they can where they are saying one thing but contradicting to the fact that the unemployment rate is due to the fact of duality of punishment, which is from Dragonian systems, where the fact is the thought of a mind of a person, since not the character, or being contaminated, where historically we've been contaminated, experiment on her. And sometimes another is that the food that we're forced to eat and the lies we're forced to listen doesn't become us. So, to a great extent, I had to learn both histories to understand the one history. And I had to make a book of histories where it's not fashions to put it in such means why it was or should have been. I've been blind for most time because I've been chemical exposed and medically exposed over time. But I couldn't see it until I actually detoxed. I couldn't feel it because I was detoxed until I got detoxed. But in great fact that the cycle of abuse does not begin with me and ends with me, because the cycle of healing needs to happen, because it's going to happen to my daughter. And if this perpetuates, then I don't believe we have enough time to heal our family in whole, but to move forward, understanding the healing part first before we get into actual recovery.
Islam, healing is a part of recovery, okay? And our healing starts with knowing that no one has the authority to label us, because you talked about labels, right?
Yes, and they label to such a fashion to, you know.
We don't care what they say. We don't care about their labels, because their labels have no authority. It's what we say, and that's why we're here now. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because their labels don't have any authority over anything that has to do with us. Okay? And so we're going to continue moving forward. Now, if you're, is there something that we can assist you with specifically, or you just wanted to put that wisdom out there in terms of what you're saying?
Well, the thing is that it's kind of a dual questions. Put the wisdom out there, so that way everyone can know that it is happening. But I don't like to ask or put things out there to obligate where it shouldn't be my responsibility to take forth on. I'm a humble person. I like to do things myself to such a degree that I could understand it, as opposed to getting it's not really a pride thing. It's just like saying, don't get something easily where you couldn't understand it yourself. I'm a hands-on person. I like to do things where I have to do it to the understanding, to the degree, to, you know, like, it's like saying I can't use the privilege of asking for help, but I like to ask the understanding of help, or assistant, best word to describe it.
Okay. So what we say is always demonstrate at the level of your understanding. Okay. So if there is something that you need assistance with, your first help is always going to be your studies. That's your first help, because each one of us, we save ourselves first, like our prophet said, then we assist others. I had to save myself first, and that was with getting information from other Moors and our teachers, and taking that information and studying it and looking at it and demonstrating it. Even through the fear, I had to demonstrate the information and then let the ancestors say, okay, you did this good, but this you can do better. You did this good, but this you can do better. And then, you know, that's how we continue demonstrating our sovereign status. Okay? So whatever it is that is that you may feel is an issue for you, okay, it's going to start first with nationality. Have you declared on the public record your sovereign status? Or that actually starts in your heart. Have you declared in your heart and know who you are in your heart?
I always have, but I always like to keep things in perspective and dignity, where the fact was I don't want to question the motive of others as agendas. And I had to be very careful not to stir up issues where other people that may disagree, where the fact is, it's not to disagree to disrespect, it's to only disagree because of the methods.
So know that disagreement is a matter of perception, perspective. That's what disagreement is one sees it one way and another sees the same thing, but it looks different from the first. So disagreement in and of itself is not a bad thing. All it is this is the way I see it, this is the way you see it. Well, at some point, that ability to see or not see has to meet the law. It has to meet the law. No matter how we see things, we get to look at the law and say, well, what does the law say about that? That's going to cause all perspectives to come into alignment with one another. Either it's lawful or it's not. Okay? Either it's lawful or it's not. What does the sovereign supreme law for this land say? Knowing that we are the law and we are the government. The law is always going to be the truth. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. The law is going to put all stories in the same, it's going to make everything level. The reason that the hybrids always used to say, talk about the long arm of the law is because they know that Allah or Allah is arm, leg, arm, head. That's why they call it the long arm of the law. The law is always going to stick, and so it's by our arms and head and legs that things get done. So we can disagree, and it's okay to disagree because great minds, someone said great minds think alike. I'm a little bit going to challenge that because sometimes on the foundation of it, great minds will think alike because they'll align with the law. But then there's going to be times where interpretation and perspective and perception and experience and all of that come into play, that the disagreement comes into play, the debate. We should be okay with that too because that's healthy. Debate, disagreement is healthy. So with that being said, I'll pare this all the way down to we first help ourselves and then we assist others. And the way that we can assist others better is by freeing ourselves first. Then we can say, hey sis, hey brother, I freed myself this way, or I freed myself that way. Okay, and that's what we've done. That's how we do things. I mean, when I demonstrate publicly. Usually it's way out, we put it up there, out there on the public record, so it can be seen how demonstrations are being done. Okay. So with that being said, hopefully you putting your words on this public record has assisted you in gaining some clarity and some understanding with whatever it is that you're going through. It seems to me from when I asked you, it seems that you just wanted to be heard, that you wanted to put your words on the public record. We honor that. We absolutely honor that.
It's also the fact that I greatly appreciate the congregations that we all join together to work on a common goal. And It's not to, we all face our own challenge, but we don't put our challenge as the center.
Yes. Yes. Our challenge is only so that we can help others.
Moving forward.
Yes. 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 Our challenges only come so that we can overcome them, overstand them, and then pass them on, pass that on. Yeah. No one of us could be the center of everything because we all are. And as long as we stay unified, we'll keep each other as the center of everything we do. That's why we share and share and share and share and share and share. Because it's about all of us, not just one of us. and not just our own experiences. It has to be about everyone's experience. Yes. Islam. Thank you for that, Nobility. We appreciate hearing from you.
Yes,
I believe this is our first time hearing
well.
from you. We love to hear from the Moors, and this is our first time hearing from you, so we are absolutely honored. Thank you.
So is I, and given the same.
Islam. Justice Travis has placed his contact information also in the chat as well, so that those who would like to build with him can do so. Islam. And please keep in mind that this is a public forum, and all of this goes on the public record. It's on the public record even now, and you know, so that we can assist, and that's why we do it. We put it out there so we can assist, and anything that Moors take from it is why we put it there, is so that it can be a mechanism by which we rise and grow and learn Islam. With that being said, if there's nothing further, we will pause the call here until our Wednesday call. Our Wednesday call is at 12 noon Eastern. Our Thursday call is at 7 p.m. Eastern, and our Sunday call is 6 p.m. Eastern. There is response in the chat, Justice Travis, to Moors wanting to connect. So let's please take the time to connect. We are fasting on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. I'm excited about that, and I'm glad we actually got it out there on the public record. 23rd, 24th, and 25th, National Fasting Days for us. If you want to fast from sun up to sundown, do so. If you want to fast from sugar or from meat or from dairy products or from negativity or from negative thinking or from whatever, please join us for the fast, the national fast, on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, so that our nation remains unified. And on those days at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., wherever you are, we're going to meditate for at least 15 minutes, and actually 9 minutes. For 9 minutes at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, so that we're all meditating together. Okay? So with that being said, peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine, heirs, Islam.
Peace and grand rising, heirs.
Peace and grand rising.
Peace and grand rising.
Long live the empire.
Long live
Islam Moors. Grand rising.
Peace and grand rising.
Grand rising. Peace and grand rising.
Peace, noble.
Islam.
Love,
Grand rising.